we see that the last verse of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam tame yukta tamo mataha. This was the last verse of 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and it was explaining how a yogi who always thinks of Krishna in devotion, Shraddhavan bhajate yomam, he is the topmost yogi. He is the best of all yogis. So who is the best of all yogis? One who always thinks of Krishna in devotion, Madgatena antaratmana. We discussed elaborately about it, if you remember. Each word we had discussed. Then also those who concentrate on him with full faith. So such a person, such a yogi, is considered to be the topmost yogi. And that faith comes from knowledge. So that's why, in order to understand, in order to gain faith in the Supreme Lord, one has to gain some knowledge of the Lord also. Otherwise, it will be only sentimental belief. There has to be very scientific knowledge of the Lord. That's why Prabhupada would always use this terminology, that we are propagating scientific knowledge of God. So then the faith is developed, isn't it? We see our life also. In the device, we were given such nice scientifically how God exists. Otherwise, we may have some faith in God, but we didn't know. If some person would have asked us, we would not have been able to prove it. So it was like a traditional faith, you may say. But, because of device, we could understand why to believe in God, isn't it? So in this way, that's a scientific understanding of Krishna consciousness. So if we doesn't have proper knowledge, then one may doubt Krishna's position. That's why in this particular section, from chapter 7 to 12, Krishna is presenting the knowledge of himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead to inspire and strengthen bhakti. So this is now almost first time Krishna is going to speak about himself. Till now he spoke more about material world, about soul. Majorly it was about soul and different paths of perfection, all that, how to act in this world. All these things he spoke. Now he is going to speak about himself. That's why this chapter is also entitled as Knowledge of the Absolute. So, and what is the purpose? The purpose is to inspire and strengthen bhakti. Because in the last verse already quoted, Bhakta is the best yogi. And Krishna, before the verse, Krishna told, yogi is better than Jnani, Karmi, everybody else, tapasvi bhi, dikho yogi. So yogi is better than all these personalities. But amongst yogis, who is the best? The devotee is the best. So that's how this chapter is beginning, to tell about, in order to strengthen that bhakti, it is going to give us knowledge of Krishna himself now. And Krishna himself is revealing the wonderful knowledge about himself, So that's how this whole 7th chapter is about. So this chapter has got 6 sections. So first section is talking about just here, first, second and third verses. That is the first section, which is telling just here. Hearing, it is talking about hearing. So, so first verse, who is going to recite?
Yes. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Maya Sakta Mana Partha.
Maya Sakta Mana Partha.
Yogam Yugyan Madashraya.
Yogam Yunjan Madashraya.
Asamsayam Samagram Mam.
Asanshayam Samagram Mam.
यथा ज्ञानासि तत् शृणु.
यथा
यथा
ज्ञास्यसि
ज्ञास्यसि तच्छृणु.
Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Now hear, O son of Partha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt." Purport. In the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Krishna is full in all opulences, and how he manifests such opulences is described herein. Also, four kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna and four kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna are described in this chapter. The first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the living entity has been described as non-material spirit soul capable of elevating himself to self-realization by different types of yogas. At the end of the 6th chapter, it has been clearly stated that the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. Impersonal Brahma Jyotir or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth because it is partial. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. In complete Krishna consciousness, one knows that Krishna is ultimate knowledge beyond any doubts. Different types of yoga are also stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about Brahma Jyotir and Paramatma in full. By practice of Krishna consciousness yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, the living entities, the material nature, and their manifestations with paraphernalia. One should therefore begin yoga practice as directed in the last verse of the 6th chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in which nine different forms, of which Shravanam is the first and most important. The Lord therefore says to Arjuna, Tat Shrunu, or hear from me. No one can be a greater authority than Krishna, and therefore, by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity to become a perfectly Krishna conscious person. One has therefore to learn from Krishna directly or from a pure devotee of Krishna, and no form and not from a non-devotee upstart, puffed up with academic education. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is described in the 2nd chapter of the 1st canto as follows. Srinvatam swakatham Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridyantasya vedrani vidvanoti surat sata nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki तदा राजस्तमो भाव कामलोभादश्चय चेतैतर अनविद्धिं स्थितं सत्त्वे प्रसिद्धति एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवद्भक्ति योगतः भगवत्तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसंगस्य जायते विद्यते हृदयदो ग्रन्थिश्चिन्त्यते सर्वसंशय क्षीयन्ते कक्षस्य कर्माणि द्रष्टा एवात्मनि श्रवे. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And from one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lusts and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of a samagram, understanding of the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead. Bhagavatam 1:17 and 21. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna.
Yeah. So this section 1, which is talking about just here, in this section, it is stated that the rare understanding of Krishna and his energies is obtained through proper hearing. Actually, the knowledge of Krishna is not so easily available, even through the Vedas. But when we hear properly, then we can get that knowledge. Actually, in anything in this world, to truly know anything, it requires just more than some existential data. It requires an awareness of its relation to the absolute truth. Because data is not sufficient. The real knowledge constitutes the knowledge of anything, how it is related with Supreme Lord. That is the real knowledge. Knowledge means to know Lord, to know material energy, to know living entity, to know material energy, and the controller of both, and what is the relationship between them. That is a very important part of knowledge. So one can know everything in the material and spiritual world simply by hearing of Krishna and his energies. So that's what is described in this first section of this chapter. So in earlier chapters, Arjuna often encouraged Krishna to speak by asking a question. We see it was more like Arjuna was asking questions and Krishna was answering. And however, in the beginning of this 7th chapter, what happens? Krishna starts spontaneously explaining about how to attain constant remembrance of him. Because he had spoken about Madgate Nantaratmana, Yoginam api sarvesham Madgate Nantaratmana, Shraddhavan bhajate, Rame Yukta Tamo Mataha. So Madgate Nantaratmana means one who constantly remembers Lord. Such a person was explained by Krishna. Now, Krishna is spontaneously explaining how one can attain constant remembrance of the Lord. So, remembrance of Krishna is a characteristic of topmost yogi. What is the symptom or characteristic of topmost yogi? That is remembrance of Krishna. So this point is so important, remembering Krishna, this point is so important. So that's why Krishna is speaking about this point, that how can one remember Krishna even without being questioned by Arjuna. Arjuna did not prompt Krishna that please tell me how can I remember you always. So further he will ask now in this chapter. But before, although Arjuna did not ask, but still Krishna is spontaneously speaking how one can develop constant remembrance of him. So in this verse, we see that of all the names of Bhakti Yoga, hearing about the Supreme Lord is foremost, Shravanam. In fact, it is the foundation of all the other processes, right? First comes Shravanam, then Kirtanam, Smaranam and all that. So how can one remember? First basis is Shravanam. So by which one can know the things in full. So that's why Krishna is asking Arjuna in this verse, Takshuru. This is very important section. Takshuru, this word, also aphorism which Krishna uses, is extremely important. He's saying Takshuru, just here, like that. So Krishna is telling, this is also a very important verse, Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashraya. So Krishna is saying that Maya Saktamana, your mind should be attached to me, Krishna is saying. And then Yogam Yunjan Mad Ashrayaha. By practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, Asanshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Jnasasi. You can know me completely without a doubt. And how do we attain this? tat shrunu. Just simply hear about Krishna. Just hear about me, Lord is telling. So if one keep on hearing about the Lord, one gets all these things eventually. Asakta mana, one becomes attached to Krishna. One practices yoga in full, one becomes Krishna conscious. One becomes attached to Krishna, one becomes Krishna conscious. One can know Krishna completely without doubt. How? Simply by hearing from Krishna. So, hearing from Krishna or hearing about Krishna, it develops full faith. Shraddhavan bhajate yogam, right? In previous verse. Shraddhavan. So that faith comes by hearing. So that's why also hearing is essential to fix our consciousness on Krishna, isn't it? More we hear about Krishna, more we can fix our consciousness on him. So both these things, one is faith and another is fixing our consciousness on the Lord. Both these things come by hearing. So also Krishna, that's why he's telling, just hear. Because the knowledge of him is beyond three modes of nature. And for the ordinary means, one cannot obtain the knowledge for him. By speculations, by experimentation, by empiric knowledge, one cannot understand Krishna. The only way to understand Krishna is to hear from him when he is describing about himself. Why? Because this knowledge is beyond three modes of nature. So, in this purport, the theme is that in order to always think of Krishna in devotion, one must hear about Krishna and his supreme position. And so we are going to hear from Krishna about himself in this particular chapter, 7th chapter. So how to know Krishna in full? Hear from him, practice bhakti yoga, mind attached to him, and be fully conscious of him. In this way, one can know Krishna in full. So in the purport, Prabhupada is stating that this full and scientific knowledge of Krishna and not impersonal Brahman or Paramatma is important. Means complete knowledge of Krishna is actually personal knowledge of the Lord. Actually knowledge of Krishna in full. In full means to know Lord, the living entity, material nature, their manifestations and paraphernalia. Everything. Because Krishna never is alone. Krishna means, Prabhupada said, just like the king. Whenever you say the king doesn't mean that he will come just naked from the bathroom. That's not the king, right? The king means king is there, his paraphernalia, his associates, his queen, all so much of big paraphernalia, big band will come, isn't it? Like Pranab Mukherjee came to inaugurate our temple. So it is not that Pranab Mukherjee came walking from railway station or Katras bus stop alone. It's not like that he came. How he came, there was, my God, that time, temple opening time. There are 20 cars ahead of him, 20 cars behind him. And such a tight security, so many big paraphernalia. So, king means always like this. Similarly, Lord means Krishna, absolute truth, which includes Paramatma and Brahman, both. Along with that, all the living entities, material nature and their manifestations and paraphernalia. So in this way, knowing Krishna in full means knowing all these things also. Not only one thing, but knowing all these things. So when Vyasadeva, he was meditating, Bhakti Yogena Manasi Samyak Pranahite Amale Apashat Purusham Purnam Maya Tadapashrayam. In that purport, Prabhupada writes, this is Bhagavatam, first canto. So Prabhupada writes in that purport that whom all Vyasadeva saw? Vyasadeva saw Supreme Lord. He saw his spiritual and material and marginal energy. All three energies he saw. He saw all the living entities. He saw spiritual abodes. He saw the paraphernalia. He saw all the expansions of Supreme Lord. So he got darshan of everything else. Because everything is included within Krishna also. So that is the first point. And another also without doubt. Without doubt means having firm faith that Krishna is the ultimate knowledge and realization. There is nothing beyond Krishna. Matta parataram nanyat kinchid asti dhananjaya. Krishna will say in further also. So that is having full faith that Krishna is the ultimate knowledge and realization. So Prabhupada is saying that this Krishna consciousness process, it reveals full knowledge of Krishna. Why? Because in this process of bhakti, Krishna consciousness, one's mind is fully attached to Krishna. Because of being attached to Krishna, all the knowledge will be revealed within the heart. Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito. So, and the process to achieve that state, Prabhupada is ninefold processes. Namanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Sastyam, Sadhu Sevanam, all this. So ninefold process. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Sadhu Sevanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. So these are 9 processes. But what is the first and foremost? Shravanam. That's why Krishna is telling Tat Shunu. But then, whom to hear from? That also Prabhupada says. Not that hearing means from anyone. Generally, people think in India, how do we obtain the knowledge of God or religion? Maybe from grandmother, grandfather, whatever they say is knowledge, like that, or maybe from TV serials. TV has become these days great authority in knowledge of God, isn't it? Or internet, people think. But no, Prabhupada is saying, whom to hear from? Only from Krishna or pure devotees. One should hear only from Krishna and pure devotees and not from others, not from non-devotee scholars. So only in Parampara, either we should hear from Krishna or we should hear in Parampara. No other way. Otherwise, one will be certainly baffled in the real knowledge of Krishna. And that's what we see in the world. That's what is happening so much, isn't it? People really have such a hodgepodge knowledge. Every religion you will see that there is so much of hodgepodge is there. No person has got clear understanding of what their religious scriptures are telling. Because nobody reads them. They are simply hearing from here, there, something. So main reason is because they are hearing from unauthorized sources. Like grandfather, or TV or something like that, grandmother. So whatever they speculate, people hear. And they consider that to be the final thing. So that's why there is so much of hodgepodge. So that's why Prabhupada is emphasizing that we should, if we really want the proper scientific knowledge, we have to hear from Krishna or his pure devotee. So Prabhupada is giving reference of these beautiful verses from first canto, second chapter of steps for advancing in Krishna consciousness. So first step is hearing about Krishna. Shrunutam Swakatha Krishna. Then second is what happens by such hearing. Second step is Krishna in the heart acts as best well-wishing friend. Hridayantastaha. So he is Shrunutam Swakatha Krishna. He acts as a best well-wishing friend. Then third is Krishna purifies the devotee who is constantly engaged in hearing. So he purifies, his heart is cleansed. So simply by hearing about Krishna, the heart is cleansed. That is third step. Then fourth step, when one continues hearing, then what happens? One becomes fixed in devotional service. When one continues hearing, one becomes fixed in devotional service. So in the beginning, devotional service certainly purifies the heart. Then ahead it fixes us in devotional service also. Then what happens? There is tada rajastamo bhava kamalobha dayasche. So freedom from nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. Nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati ruttama shloki bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. So one has become fixed up in devotional service. When one becomes fixed on doing devotional service, then what happens? The modes of passion and ignorance slowly try to subside. Where slowly person is elevated to the mode of goodness. And what is the product of passion? Lust. What is the product of ignorance? Anger. And lust, anger, greed, these are the manifestations of passion and ignorance. So they also start subsiding. So this is all happens after becoming fixed up in devotional service. Sometimes people ask, so why I am not able to perceive the effects of bhakti? So first, the effects of bhakti can be perceived by a person who has become fixed up. So when one has become fixed up, means he is, continuing to practice bhakti steadily. Then these modes of passion and ignorance are subsided, and lust and avarice are diminished, and in this way one becomes steady in pure goodness. Eventually, one elevates himself to goodness, and from goodness to pure goodness. And then next stage is one becomes enlivened by devotional service. And in this way, one understands the science of God perfectly. And when that happens, vidyate hridaya granthis chidyante sayo samshaya. What happens after that? The knot of material affection is severed. Vidyate hridaya granthis. So by such understanding the scientific knowledge of God, knot of material affection is severed, and one comes to the stage of asanshayam samagram. That is chidyante sarva sanshaya. Both are same. Chidyante sarva sanshaya or coming to the stage of asanshayam samagram. So Prabhupada is connecting these two words. You see, Bhagavatam it is said, chidyante sarva sanshaya. Vidyate hridaya granthis, chidyante sarva sanshaya. क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि तुष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरे. In that छिद्यन्ते सर्व संशय के लिए इतना सारा है. और here also Krishna is saying asanshayam samagram. So complete understanding of Supreme Lord without doubt, that is established at that stage. All doubts will be cleared. So the conclusion is that the only way to understand science of Krishna is by hearing from Krishna or from his devotees. There is no other way. One has to hear from Krishna directly, or one has to hear from his devotees. Okay. So please go to verse number 2.
Hare Krishna. ज्ञानं तेहं सविज्ञानं
ज्ञानं तेहं सविज्ञानं.
Hare Krishna, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. Idam vakshyami asheshatah.
Idam vakshyami asheshatah.
Yajñatva neha bhuyo jñaj.
Yajñatva neha bhuyo jñaj.
Jnanatvam avashishyayah.
Jnatavyam avashishyate.
Translation: I shall now declare unto you in this full knowledge with both phenomenal and numinous, this being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. Purport: complete knowledge includes knowledge of the phenomenal world, the spirit behind it, and the source of both of them. This is the transcendental knowledge. The Lord wants to explain the above mentioned system of knowledge because Arjuna is Krishna's confidential devotee and friend. In the beginning of the 4th chapter, this explanation was given by the Lord, and it is again confirmed here. Complete knowledge can be achieved only by the devotee of the Lord in the disciplic succession directly from the Lord. Therefore, one should be intelligent enough to know the source of all knowledge, who is the cause of all causes, and the only object for meditation in all types of yoga practice. When the cause of all causes becomes known, then everything knowable becomes known and nothing remains unknown. The Vedas, Mundaka Upanishad 1.1.3 says, Kashmin yu bhagavo vijnate sarvam idam vijnatam bhavati.
Yeah. So what did Jesus Christ say? What did Jesus Christ say to his followers in these terms?
Is it know God, know thyself? Something like that?
Yes, what?
There is much more to be told.
Huh?
Something like
What he says is, there is much more I want to tell you, but you cannot take it now, right? That's what Jesus Christ told to his followers. That I have many things more to tell you, but because you are not so advanced, you are not so elevated, so I cannot tell you. Hear what Krishna is telling. I shall now declare unto you full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. So this is how we say other religions are like pocket dictionary, and our Vedic religion is, especially Bhagavad Gita, is Chambers dictionary. Because Krishna is telling there is nothing beyond this. I am telling you everything. So after knowing this, nothing else will remain for you to know. Everything you are knowing by just now itself. So that's the difference between the Vedic literature and the literatures of other religions. So in this verse, Krishna is speaking about Jnana, the greatness of him, and Vijnana, the sweetness of Krishna. So this is the glory of knowledge about Krishna is being spoken. The glory of knowledge about Krishna. So it talks about Jnana of the Lord, greatness of the Lord. So how Lord is so great. Jastai kalishasita kala mathavalambya divanti loma vilaja jagadanda natha Vishtur mahan sahiya isya kala vishesho govinda madi purusham tamaham bhajami. The Lord is so great that from every pore of his body, Jaganda Natha, so many universes and Brahmas are emanating. Nishvasita, just by his, Shwasatshwas, what do you say, breathing, just by his breathing, universes are coming in and out. And this is the glory of Lord. So that is his greatness. He is the supreme controller, supreme master, supreme maintainer, supreme Lord of all that is. So that is the greatness of the Lord. And then Vijnana is actually beyond this great supreme Lord, there is sweetness of the Lord. What is that sweetness of the Lord? Lord is a supreme lover. He loves his devotees so much. Actually, he loves every living entity. So his compassion, his sweetness, his love for his devotees. So these are all aspects of Krishna's sweetness. That how he loves everyone so much, how he reciprocates with his devotees, so much so that Krishna becomes the humble servant of his devotees. Although he is Supreme Lord, but he takes pleasure in intimately relating with devotees and even taking a subordinate position to his devotees. That is Krishna's sweetness. So we know this most beautiful picture, very, very heart-touching picture if you have seen, of Yashoda Mai and Nanda Maharaj and Krishna. Small baby Krishna is carrying sandals of Nanda Maharaj. Have you seen that picture? So sweet, so heart-touching it is. It is Parabrahma. It is the Supreme Lord, Supreme Master Vishnu. Right? But then he is just simply carrying the sandals of Nanda Maharaj. And even Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai is also touched by Krishna's such sweet and such wonderful behavior. That is Vijnana, sweetness of the Lord. So, chapter 7 and 8 will describe Jnana, greatness of the Lord. And then chapter 9 will describe sweetness of the Lord, Vijnana. And then again, both Jnana and Vijnana will be described in chapter 10 and 11. So now Krishna in this verse, second verse, Krishna is glorifying knowledge about himself. So Krishna is everything. Phenomenal means material and numinous means spiritual. So these two words always intrigue for many times some devotees. What is this phenomenal and numinous? So phenomenal means material numinous means spiritual. So Krishna is everything. Krishna is everything, all pervaded, everywhere in material world as well as in spiritual world. And when we grasp this knowledge, so because there is nothing beyond material and spiritual, right? So when one grasps this knowledge, phenomenal and numinous knowledge, then nothing leaves to be unknown. Nothing remains to be unknown, isn't it? So that's how, just by knowing this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, which Krishna is explaining, we can understand everything. So we see Prabhupada would often quote Bhagavad Gita only, because Bhagavad Gita actually contains all the knowledge. Whatever is required is all contained in Bhagavad Gita. So the jnana generally refers to the knowledge that the body and soul are different. That's called as jnana. So however, here knowledge refers to the knowledge of Krishna and his energies. So here the word jnana is basically referring to Lord Krishna and his energies. Or whatever, soul and body are different, that is also called jnana. And Srila Ramanujacharya, he comments that Vijnana refers to the knowledge of Krishna's form or his sweetness. Whatever, we discussed that Vijnana refers to his sweetness. So Ramanujacharya says Vijnana refers to the knowledge of Lord's form. So in this chapter, basically, Krishna fully reveals the knowledge of himself. That's why the name of chapter is Knowledge of the Absolute. So Krishna reveals himself as Supreme Personality of Godhead, the source of both spiritual and material existence. So again, another meaning of Jnana and Vijnana is material knowledge is considered to be Jnana and spiritual knowledge is considered to be Vijnana. So we saw three definitions till now of Jnana and Vijnana. One definition was Jnana is Krishna's greatness, Vijnana is Krishna's sweetness. Second one was Jnana is Krishna and his energy, and Vijnana means Krishna's own form. Then Jnana refers to material knowledge and Vijnana refers to spiritual knowledge. So these are the three different definitions given by different acharyas about this Jnana and Vijnana. So this Jnana is a phenomenal knowledge and Vijnana is numinous knowledge. So in the purport, Prabhupada is giving the definition of what is complete knowledge or transcendental knowledge. Complete knowledge means to know matter, the spirit and the source of both. That is called as real knowledge. Most of the knowledge which is given in nowadays in education institutes, that is only one. They give only knowledge of matter. That's it. They don't speak anything about, even they don't give full knowledge of matter also. It's only of gross matter they give. Not even of mind and intelligence and ego also. That also they don't give. But even if we say that they give knowledge of matter, but there is no knowledge of spirit. There is no knowledge of source of both. From where this matter and spirit are coming. That is also not spoken. That's why Srila Prabhupada, when he went to this MIT, Massachusetts Institute, he said, you are the biggest university in the whole world. You are most famous. But where is the department which teaches what happens after death? Where is the department which teaches this particular important knowledge? Every person in this world is dying. What happens to him after death? Where is the knowledge of birth and death? There is no such department. And they were there, they just had to hang their head down. They couldn't answer. There is no such department which learns this type of understanding. So that's how, the knowledge which is given in modern times is only 1/3 or less than 1/3 we can say. But the 2/3 of knowledge is not given in the so-called universities. The knowledge of spirit and the source of both matter and spirit. So that knowledge, but knowledge of all these three things we'll find in Bhagavad Gita and Vedic Shastra. Vedas also have detailed knowledge of matter. Vedas have detailed knowledge of spirit. Vedas have detailed knowledge of who is the source of both. That's why Vedas give us the complete knowledge. And what was the eligibility of Arjun to gain this knowledge? Because he was devotee and friend of Krishna. So that is the qualification required to receive this transcendental knowledge. One has to be devotee of the Lord. Only a devotee can understand this knowledge. No non-devotee can understand. Also, one should come in bona fide parampara. One should receive, or one should receive directly from the Lord. either of these two things. Either we should receive the knowledge from directly from the Lord, or one should receive from bona fide Guru Shishya Sampradaya. And then when one receives the knowledge with this eligibility criteria that one is devotee and one is hearing the knowledge from Lord or from the bona fide parampara, then nothing remains to be known. Means सब कुछ उनको पता चल जाता है. So that means what? When one knows, nothing remains to be known means that one knows who is the source of all, the cause of all causes, the only object of meditation of all yogis. All these things are known to a person. And that's how Prabhupada is quoting Mundaka Upanishad. Tasmin bhago vidhyate sarvam eva vidhyatam bhagati. When you understand Lord, you understand everything else. Because Lord is the source of everything in this creation. When you understand Lord, you know everything else. So that's why Prabhupada used to say, we know everything. Why? Because we know the source of everything. Isn't it? So we know everything, that's why. Okay. So, verse number 3.
Hare Krishna. Manushanam sahasreshu Kashchit yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam Kashimam veti tattvatah. Translation: out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and out of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Purport: there are various grades of men. And out of many thousands, one may be sufficiently interested in transcendental realization to try to know what is the self, what is the body, and what is the absolute truth. Generally, mankind is simply engaged in the animal propensities, namely eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. And hardly anyone is interested in transcendental knowledge. The first 6 chapters of Gita are meant for those who are interested in transcendental knowledge. In understanding the self, the super self, and the process of realization by Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and discrimination of the self from matter. However, Krishna can be known only by persons who are in Krishna consciousness. Other transcendentalists may achieve impersonal Brahman realization, for this is easier than understanding Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Person, but at the same time, he is beyond the knowledge of Brahman and Paramatma. The yogis and jnanis are confused in their attempts to understand Krishna. Although the greatest of the impersonalists, Sripad Shankaracharya, has admitted in the Gita commentary that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His followers do not accept Krishna as such, for it is very difficult to know Krishna, even though one has transcendental realization of impersonal Brahman. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, the primeval Lord Govinda. Ishwara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. It is very difficult for the non-devotees to know him. Although non-devotees declare that the path of bhakti or devotional service is very easy, they cannot practice it. If the path of bhakti is so easy, as the non-devotee class of men proclaim, then why do they take up the difficult path? Actually, the path of bhakti is not easy. The so-called path of bhakti practiced by unauthorized person without knowledge of bhakti may be easy, but then it is practiced factually according to the rules and regulation. The speculative scholars and philosophers fall away from the path. Srila Rupa Goswami writes in his Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.2.101, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidhi Nam Vina Aikantiki Harer Bhaktir Upta Nayeva Kalpate. Devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literature like Upanishad, Puranas, and Narada Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society. It is not possible for the Brahman realized impersonalist or the Paramatma realized yogi to understand Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead, as a son of Mother Yashoda or the charioteer of Krishna. Even the great demigods are sometimes confused about Krishna. Muyanti yat suryaha mam tu veda Krishna. No one knows me as I am, the Lord says. And if one does know him, then sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Such a great soul is very rare. Therefore, unless one practices devotional service to the Lord, one cannot know Krishna as he is, even though one is the greatest scholar or philosopher. Only the pure devotees can know something of the inconceivable transcendental qualities in Krishna. His being the cause of all causes, his omnipotence and opulence, and his wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. Because Krishna is benevolently inclined to his devotees. He is the last word in the Brahman realization, and the devotees alone can realize him as he is. Therefore, it is said, Atha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahayam indriya sevon mukhe hi jivado swayam eva spurati adaha. No one can understand Krishna as he is by the blunt material senses, but he reveals himself to the devotees, being pleased with them for their transcendental loving service unto him. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.2.234.
Yeah. So this verse is explaining about the rarity of realized knowledge, vijnana. So we see in this world people are so busy doing so many activities. People are busy going to college, company, offices, factories, driving, climbing, walking, having some affairs with girls or girls with boys or fighting or, farming. So many activities people are doing. They are wanting to go very fast. They want to take care of their family. They want to enjoy in various ways. And so many different people are there. So thousands and thousands of people. Amongst them, hardly one person is interested to know what is the difference between, what is the goal of life, who am I actually, who is God. ऐसा क्वेश्चन पूछने वाले हजारों लोगों में से एक ही मनुष्य रहते. And such person takes to the path of spirituality. Now amongst those people who take the path of spirituality also, so they are called as siddhaye. They come to siddhi. Means they can understand the knowledge of difference between body and soul and all that. And then among such people also, there are people who understand, take to path of spiritual life. Those people, generally people take to jnana, meditation, speculations, argument, discussions, and hatha yoga, asanas, and various types of tapasyas. And in this way, most of the people take different paths. And amongst them also there is only one person who becomes Krishna conscious, realized devotee. So how rare is this knowledge, isn't it? And that we can realize also. So only a rare soul knows Krishna in truth. So Krishna, he will emphasize the rarity of this knowing about him by repeating this point. Again, 2 times Krishna will repeat this point. In 19 and 26 also, that how this path is very rare. This knowledge is very rare. So, although, despite this knowledge is so rare, but still Krishna begins to describe this knowledge. So, in the purport, so Krishna is saying in this verse that out of many thousands, one may endeavor for perfection. Means they try to understand who is God, what is my relationship with God, why am I suffering, all these things. And amongst thousands of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one actually knows in Krishna in truth, tattvataha. So generally, these people of Vedantist and Jnana school or Yoga school, they think that bhakti is so easy. It is meant for sentimental people. But yeah, bhakti is one sense very easy because it requires no material qualifications. That's why it is easy. Because it doesn't entail any material qualifications. For jnana and yoga, so many material qualifications are required. But for bhakti, there is no material qualification required. So that's why that way it is easy. But then Prabhupada writes in the purport also that another sense bhakti is very difficult to perfect. Although people may take easily to bhakti, but to perfect in bhakti is very difficult because it is obtainable only by selfless devotion. There is no material formula of mental speculation or ritual by which one can attain devotion. Bhakti is attained, pure bhakti, perfection in bhakti is attained only by selfless devotional service to the Lord and not by any material means. So there is no material formula, there is no mechanical formula. Like Dhruva Maharaj, Narada boy. So Narada boy, he went to the forest, isn't it? After his mother died, he immediately left to the forest. He started for north and he traveled through various cities, villages, forests, pasture grounds, hills, river bank, mines, and all these various regions he saw. And ultimately he came on the bank of one pond. He drank some clear water and he just started meditating on the Lord. And then Lord appeared within his heart. And he got darshan of the Lord within his heart. But then after a few moments, so that time Narada boy exhibited the symptoms of ecstasy. It is said that all his senses were separately enlivened and he felt great joy and tears rolled down his eyes. All these symptoms came. But then what happened? Suddenly Lord disappeared. And then again Narada boy was so disturbed by disappearance of the Lord. Just like the person who has got a very huge amount of wealth and he just lost it. How much that person will be anxious, right? अगर किसी को बहुत पैसा मिल गया पर वो पैसा खो गया और लूट लिया किसी तो कितना टेंशन आएगा वो पर्सन को, right? Same way, that way only this Narada boy became very, very anxious. Again he started meditating. And then the Lord, after a long practice of meditation also, Lord did not appear. And then Lord said, my dear Narada boy, you can never see me again in this life. Because those who have not become completely free from material taints, they cannot see me. I gave my darshan to you only for few moments to increase your attraction for me, to increase your eagerness to have me. But now you should continue the process of devotion and cleanse your heart. So in that purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, there is no mechanical process to understand Krishna. Krishna cannot be known by mechanical process. That doesn't mean it can be understood by computer process or electronic process or civil process. Don't put it in engineering terms. Means what? Just by ritualistically performing certain activities on a material level, one cannot obtain Krishna. And that's why it is very difficult also. So in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning about various grades of people. So Prabhupada is saying that general people, they are engaged in animal propensities. What are animal propensities? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending, right? Most of the people in this world, generally they are engaged into animalistic propensities. Somehow or other they just want to find out their livelihood, they want to find out their shelter, food, clothing, shelter, all these things only they are engaged in. And eating, sleeping, mating, defending, that's it. So they are engaged in animalistic propensities. Then among such people only hardly anyone is interested in transcendental knowledge. So then, for Prabhupada says that chapter 1 to 6 are for those who are interested in transcendental knowledge. For understanding about oneself, about understanding about Supreme Lord, and the process of realization by Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and Sankhya Yoga. So somebody who wants to understand the self by this, then there is first 6 chapters are for that. Jnana, Dhyana, and Sankhya. And in this way they can understand, to get some realizations of spiritual identity, Supreme Lord's identity, etc., etc. But somebody wants to know Krishna, then that can be known only by Krishna consciousness. So that can be known only by Krishna consciousness and not by any other method. And such knowledge of Krishna is beyond Brahman and Paramatma realization only. So that can be known only by bhakti. So Prabhupada is saying that even Sripad Shankaracharya, he also admits that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even Shankaracharya admits that. Anyone knows what is the aphorism? Huh? What is that?
गीता महात्म्य आदि सर्वोपनिषदो गावो बुद्ध गोपाल नंदन एकोदशास्त्रम देवकी पुत्र गीतम एक.
Okay, yes, that is also one hint wherein he says that Eko Shastra Devaki Putra Gita. Okay. Any other?
He writes.
Huh?
Govindam, that he writes in his last.
Okay, he writes about Bhaja Govindam song also. Okay. Any other aphorism?
Many songs are composed by Shankaracharya, Jagannathashtakam. So
okay, he wrote various ashtakams glorifying the Lord, but he wrote Durga Ashtakam also. He wrote about Kali, Durga, everyone. Such ashtakams are written about everyone. I think about Durga and about different, some more he wrote also. Yeah, but still Ashtakam he glorifies Krishna as Supreme Lord. And this is often quoted by Prabhupada. Shankaracharya ko bolna hai to this one Prabhupada quotes often. Oh, nobody knows? Prabhupada so many times quotes this. Shankaracharya says, Narayana paro avyaktat. Means what? Narayana is beyond even the unmanifested. Means it is beyond Brahman also. Avyakta means Brahman. So Narayana is even beyond Brahman. What to speak of Vyakta? Narayana is beyond Avyakta also. Vyakta is this material world. Avyakta is Brahman. But Narayana is beyond that also, he says. Brahmanyo Devaki Putro. So, the Supreme Brahman is Devaki Putra. So, in this way, when Shankaracharya is telling that, he is also accepting that Krishna is Supreme Lord, who is supreme beyond this Brahman also. So, Shankaracharya admits, but his followers do not accept. That's the problem with his followers, that they are not ready to accept, although Shankaracharya is ready to accept. So, impersonal realization is easier than knowing Krishna, Prabhupada is telling. Because Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadiradir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. So, Krishna is Supreme Lord, cause of all causes, and to understand him is not so easy. One may even understand Brahman, because even by Jnana process or Yoga process one can understand Brahman, but to understand Lord, not so easy, isn't it? Even Brahmaji got bewildered in understanding Krishna. Even Indra got bewildered. That's why Krishna says in further ahead also, Name Vidu Suragana, he is going to speak. Even great demigods cannot understand Krishna. Great yogis and siddhis and munis cannot understand Krishna. That's why understanding Krishna is not that easy thing. So sometimes these non-devotees, especially Mayavadis, they say, oh, this is all bhakti so easy, it is meant for sentimentalist people. Like Prakashanand Saraswati, when he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, oh, this is just a sentimental sannyasi. He's simply chanting and dancing. He's not studying Vedanta with us. So he criticized Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Baula sannyasi. He's simply a mad person, he's a bhavuk personality. But then Prabhupada is giving nice arguments that if people say that bhakti is very easy, then Prabhupada says that why they don't take such easy paths then? Why they are choosing difficult paths? अरे अगर एक कुछ चीज करने के लिए आपको एक आसान रास्ता है, दूसरा कठिन रास्ता है, तो जो बुद्धिमान है वो क्या करेगा? आसान रास्ता लेगा या कठिन रास्ता लेगा? सिंपल राइट, वो आसान रास्ता ले लेगा ना. तो only मूर्ख person will take difficult path, right? So if bhakti is so easy, then why don't they take? Because they are so foolish, so that's why they don't take. Why they have to choose such difficult path? So, but Prabhupada says, but it is not so. On the other hand, as we discussed little before also, bhakti is, one sense bhakti is very easy because bhakti doesn't require any material qualifications. But on the other hand, bhakti is not so easy. In fact, Prabhupada says so-called unauthorized path like sahajiyas and all that, that type of path may be easy, Prabhupada says. But the real authorized path, that is not so easy, which is followed based on the Vedic injunctions. Really practicing bhakti, that's not so easy. So even the greatest mental speculators and philosophers, they fall away. They cannot continue, isn't it? So greatest of the yogis and all that, they fall away from the path of bhakti. So that's why devotional service without Vedic authorization is simply detestable to the society. Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatri ki vidhi vina Aikanta ki harer bhakti utpata ye kalpate. So even those so-called people who say that हम भी भक्त है, कस्तूरी तिलक के ललाट पटले, all that they'll go, अरे हम भी भक्त हैं, आप लोग क्यों आपको खुद को भक्त मानते? हम भक्त नहीं क्या? अरे सब भक्त है, सभी भक्त ही है. भक्ति क्या? भक्ति तो कोई भी कर सकता है. It is not like that. One can be such a speculator or simply sentimental emotionalist. That anybody can do. Anybody can say I'm devotee. But to be an actual devotee, it's like, being like a 24 karat gold, pure gold. It's not that easy. It's not that easily obtained. So that's why those people who say that bhakti is just meant for some stupid fellows, that is very, wrong conception. Bhakti is, that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, he gave, when he met Sarvam Bhattacharya or Prakashanand Saraswati or other people, Buddhists, he met Buddhists also and others, other Tattvavadis and all that. He did not just chant and dance, he gave them proper philosophy so that they can understand that what he is doing, chanting and dancing, is not some sentimental, cheap practice. It is a very, very deep science. It's very topmost science. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. It is like that. It's not some cheap thing. So in order to prove to them, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu engaged in arguments, and we see what kind of arguments Chaitanya Mahaprabhu puts in front of this Prakashanand Saraswati or Sarvam Bhattacharya or all such people. It's simply amazing. They were, practically they were gaping at their mouth. They couldn't say anything in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's arguments. So bhakti is not some cheap thing. It's not meant for some just, it's not meant for the people. लोगों को कभी कभी क्या लगता है कि जिसको दूसरा कुछ आता नहीं वो भक्त बन जाता है. Like that people, the person who is useless for practical purposes, such a person becomes bhakta. But it is not like that. So all such misconceptions will be refuted by Krishna. Especially in this verse also Krishna has refuted it. Anushyanam sahasreshu kasyate tati siddhaye. Yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tattvata, Krishna is saying. So among spiritualists also bhakta is very rare. In fact, in another place also it is said, amongst many munis and yogis, eka bhaktir vishishyate. Among such, one person can be devotee. So it's not a joke. How many devotees are there around? We can see also in your college, Sivagarh college area, almost 25,000 people are there, right? But how many are bhaktas? 25 maybe, isn't it? There are 25 devotees in the voice. So Very rare. In your company also, thousands of employees may be there. How many are devotees? You can really see the ratio is like that only. Manushyanam Sahasreshvi ratio is sab jagah pe. So that's why Tattvataha is very important word used by Krishna here. Kaschin mam vetti Tattvataha. Knowing Krishna as he is, that is the last word in Brahman realization. So it is not so easy to know Krishna as he is. That's why we discussed that even demigods could not know Krishna as he is. Very proper. Even they got bewildered. Even yogis and siddhis. Okay, you know that pastime of Bhrigu Muni, right? That Bhrigu Muni and the sages, they were great sages, but they couldn't understand who is Supreme Lord. You know, जो हमारा second year के बच्चे को ही समझ पता है. But that doesn't mean it is such a cheap knowledge. You know, they were great sages. They couldn't ascertain who is Supreme Lord. So they had to send Bhrigu Muni to do test करके आओ कौन है भगवान. You know, it was a very difficult task they had given. So that's why Prabhupada is telling in the purport, who can know Krishna as he is? Tattvataha. Only pure devotees can know. By the devotional service they can understand. So, but can they understand Krishna fully? No, it is not possible to understand Krishna fully. No, because Krishna has got inconceivable transcendental qualities. So that's why they can understand only something of that. They cannot understand Krishna fully. In fact, Krishna, devotional service is the last word in Brahman realization, he says. So people may take so many vratas, they may do so many yajnas, so many tapasyas, but what is the ultimatum? Ultimatum is devotional service to Krishna. So in the world around, you see that so many people, some people are going to worship Maruti, some people worship Lakshmi, Ganpati, Shiva, you know, Durga Devi, you know, they worship, or Jesus, Sai Baba these days. Isn't it? Semi-gods, demigods and semi-gods. People are worshipping, isn't it? But then, who is the topmost amongst these? The last word in this such spiritual path is devotional service to the Lord. Somebody who is rendering devotional service to the Lord is considered to be the topmost of all personalities. So what about impersonalists, Paramatma realized yogis and demigods? In fact, Krishna says that they fail to understand Krishna as the son of Yashoda, who is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Brahma got bewildered by seeing Krishna as a cowherd boy. Even Indra got bewildered. Who had called Krishna? It was Brahma who had called Krishna, right? Indra must also have gone, isn't it? But they got bewildered by seeing Krishna as the son of Yashoda and a friend of cowherd boys. Even they couldn't understand Krishna there. जिन्होंने ब्रह्मा जी ने ही भगवान को बुलाया, ब्रह्मा जी नहीं समझ पाए भगवान को. So that's why Prabhupada highlights the potency of bhakti. That bhaktya tu ananyaya shaktya aham evam vidorjana jnatum dashtum cha tattvena parveshtum cha parantapa. This verse will come ahead. Krishna says that I can be understood only by devotional service. Krishna himself very clearly states that ahead. You know, bhaktya tu ananyaya shakya aham evam vidorjana jnatum dashtum cha tattvena parveshtum cha parantapa. He says. And such a person who knows Krishna is very, very rare. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanvan mam prapaddate vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. After taking many, many births, somebody who is in knowledge can get the realization of Vasudeva. So this is how the bhakti is so rare and devotee is so rare. So when we are seeing devotees around, when we are practicing devotional service, we should not think that it is very cheap or it should not be taken for granted. We should take it very, very seriously and understand that it is a very, very rare gem. It's a very, very rare opportunity in life. And, you know, I am that fortunate soul who is blessed by the Lord to have this devotional service. You know, so if we believe in these statements of Bhagavad Gita, then we have to believe this also. And we can see it practically also. That how many people are really able to take to real devotional service. Very rare. People can make show of devotional service. You see outside so many people are making show of devotional service. But they don't have any knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Many times they don't accept. Although they may read Bhagavad Gita, they don't accept Krishna as God also. Still, despite reading Bhagavad Gita, they don't accept. So we see that's why the path given to us by Srila Prabhupada is so rare, and how we have come over here is simply a miracle, isn't it? There is no other reason we can explain for this, our coming to this path of devotion, apart from it is simply a miraculous mercy of the Lord. But we have to preserve it and we have to value it, because it is very rarely obtained. It's not so easily obtained. So that's what Krishna is telling in this particular verse. The rarity of bhakti, the rarity of being a devotee. So that's how we have to value something which is very rare. We'll value it like anything, right? So we have to value that. Okay, so this ends this section. First section of the 7th chapter, these 3 verses. Next, tomorrow we'll go to second section, 4th to 12th verses. We'll begin with 4th verse tomorrow. So this 3rd verse was the verse of remembering, Manusyanam Sahasreshu. And the 4th verse is also well known. So we have to. Yes, please.
We have heard that famous when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had come, he had distributed this treasure freely. Brahmara Durlabha Prem Shava Karidache. But still, how can we say because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, it was distributed even more freely. Like Mahaprabhu went to South India, each and every village almost got converted to devotees.
But then where are devotees in South India now, apart from ISKCON devotees of Mahaprabhu? You hardly find devotees, right? Even in Bengal itself, there are hardly very less are the devotees of the Lord. Most of them are meat eaters, fish eaters, right? So when Lord comes or Acharya comes, there is a sudden special power which is manifested, wherein so many people take to bhakti. Like Prabhupada also came, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur came. It was like a wave of bhakti, high tide of bhakti comes, because they are so powerful. So that is a special prerogative when Lord or his Acharyas come. But otherwise, in general, we see that, it's not so easy. We see how many devotees are there in Bengal also now. Very less number. More Kali worshippers are there than Krishna devotees in Bengal also. Where it started, that place itself has very less devotees. So, because this process can be understood only by a few people. That's why in 11th canto, Karabhajan Muni says that Yajnai Sankirtanatai Yajantihi Sumedasaha. Those who are very intelligent, they will worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by this Sankirtan Yajna. So such Sumedasa people are very rare. So that was like a great wave of devotion which was brought by this great personality, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and others.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have one question.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that beginning the bhakti process is easy, but to perfect the bhakti process is not that easy. And you gave example of Narada boy. All other parts are even more difficult. That's there. But beginning is easy and it is to perfect is difficult. And later you said about those munis, great munis, right? They had to appoint great muni to go and test to find out who is the supreme. And later again you said about great personalities like Lord Brahma, Indra, they also get bewildered. Right? Although they themselves went to call Lord, but they couldn't understand. So my question is, and then at the same time you said that this our second year boy, he how to understand second year new devotee coming to Krishna consciousness means how can we compare somebody like this who is simply coming to Krishna consciousness and with those great people who are there, and because I heard in one of the classes Prabhupada also tells this young little Saraswati, she used to tell, who is Krishna, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. And there were two great saints, I guess, in front of Prabhupada. They couldn't explain who is Krishna. So, how what is the barometer or parameter to understand Krishna or something? How to understand who is understanding Krishna to what extent, or how to understand
So
ourselves?
the
How much I am able to understand?
first to understand that Krishna is Supreme Lord and Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Lord is the Supreme Lord is Krishna, that itself is a very rare knowledge. So then one may say how our second year boy also understand. That's a special mercy of our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Acharyas. Otherwise people did not know very easily. Vedic scholars cannot very easily find out who is Supreme Lord. That was the situation of the sages also, because they are Vedic scholars. So there is a verse. Advaitam Achyuta Anadi Ananta Rupam Adhyam Purana Purusham Nava Yavanam Vedeshu Durlabam. So Vedic scriptures पढ़ाई करके भी दुर्लभम, very difficult to get. Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhakto. But by devotional service, Lord can be understood very easily. So if one does not take to devotional service, then it is very, very difficult to understand Krishna. But then when one understands, takes to devotional service, then it is very easy to understand Krishna. That's how the equation is. But then one may say, then what is so difficult? The so difficult is that people do not want to take to devotional service. Their stubbornness is there, that no, I will not take it. Although it is easy, still they will say not take it. You know, like you give sometimes prasad, even some people don't even want to accept prasad also. Right? They say, no, we don't want, especially sophisticated. So that's why, that's how it is rare and difficult. But then somebody who just receives this bhakti process and the path from a genuine devotee and tries to submissively follow it, then for him it becomes easy. Atma Bhakto, Vedeshu Durlabam, Adurlabam Atma Bhakto. जो भक्त है उनके लिए अदुर्लभ है, यानी क्या है, उनके लिए आसान है. जो लोग भक्त नहीं है उनके लिए बहुत मुश्किल है. That is first thing. Then second thing is what? You say then how do we understand? So then who is understood what and all that? So first one is that one who has got even at least theoretical understanding. Like if you ask any person in the society that who is God, some people at least can theoretically say that Vishnu or Krishna is God. They are also very rare souls, because most people, many people may say I don't know, or some people will say Shiva, Ganpati, Parvati, something like that. So then such people are very rare. But just people who say, but those who believe it, that yes, Krishna is Supreme Lord, these are Manushyanam Sahasreshu, who can believe Krishna actually to be Supreme Lord. Means they don't have just knowledge, but they believe it. They have faith on Krishna to be Supreme Lord. These people are very rare. And then if somebody knows Krishna is Lord, then naturally somebody who engages with his full heart in devotional service, that person understands Krishna to be the best. Otherwise what is the use of just knowing? If one doesn't render devotional service to the Lord, one may have faith, yes, Krishna is God. Hey, then why don't you serve? Like a woman says, yes, I know Mr. Such and Such is my husband. Fine, I accept him as my husband. I have full faith in my husband. Okay, then if he's husband, then why don't you love him? Why don't you serve him? No, that I won't do. I just know that he's my husband. What's the use of such kind of knowledge? But still, she is considered to be in a right knowledge because she knows such a person is her husband. So at least some knowledge is there. But then that practical application of knowledge is devotional service, isn't it? So in this way, these are the various degrees. So how do we understand at which level? From this we can understand Maya Sakta Mana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashraya. How much our mind is attached to Krishna. We know that pastime, right? Wherein Prabhupada asked his GBC members eye to eye, how many of you believe that Krishna is Supreme Lord? And they couldn't lie to Prabhupada. Then they just hung their head down, and Prabhupada said, if you could really have full faith that Krishna is Supreme Lord, we can take over the whole world within 18 days. So one may say, what is so great about it? Arey, humko bhi pata hai Krishna is Supreme. We believe. Yes, we can prove to the world. We can give this seminar in Spurti Camp. Why do we call Krishna a Supreme Personality of God? Spurti Camp mein hum class bhi de sakte hain. So why then Prabhupada is saying so? Because believing means what? Believing is not just, it's not just a superficial thing. It's such a deep attachment. If we believe that Krishna is not different than his deities, then can we just come out of the deities ever? अगर भगवान आपके सामने खड़े और हम भगवान को छोड़ के आ जाते हैं, means what? We are not able to yet perceive, Krishna to be non-different than his deity. If we really believe that Krishna is in his holy names, then we will never stop chanting. Because who would like to give up association of the Lord? Isn't it? So that's why that Nashtiki Shraddha is not there yet. Although we believe, but that is Adav Shraddha only. Nashtiki Shraddha, which Nishtha is not there. It's only Adav Shraddha level. Okay, theoretically accept, and we can logically accept also. Intellectually we are able to accept, but from the heart accepting and rendering service, because anybody who accepts in the heart, Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma, no Shochitana Kante, Samasarveshu Bhaktim Lavate Param, So somebody who has that knowledge and faith, he will render devotional service to the Lord with full heart. So that's the proof. So bhakti is a process of basically faith only. Who understands Krishna to the best? These Brajvasis understand Krishna to the best. They have full knowledge of the Lord because they can understand. It's very simple, just like, who knows the Prime Minister the best? His family members know the Prime Minister the best, right? Not us, because we have not established that relationship with him. Same way these Brajvasis, they have established relationship with the Lord. So that's why they know the Lord the best. They can know inner secrets of the Lord's heart. They can peep into the Lord's heart. That comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. That Swarup Damodar peeped into the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But that access is available only for such great personalities as Swarup Damodar, who are perfected beings. So they know Krishna to the best. So how do we know to what degree I understand Krishna? To the degree my faith is, to the degree I have developed attachment to Krishna, to that degree I understand Krishna. Does this answer your question, Mayanpru?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much, all of you. Thank all of you so much. So here again, that laptop problem is there, so range keeps on coming and going. So I was able to see you for some time, but now I am not able to see you. So that's why I also had to say Tachrunu just here because I cannot see you also. Because that's why I'm connecting parallelly by phone, because the range keeps on coming and going. So anyways, so we'll stop here for today. Tomorrow we'll again get. Tomorrow so we'll see Vaishashika Prabhu's class is there. So we'll, based on that, our Rohit Prabhu will convey to all the devotees what are the timings. Thank you. Hari Bol. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.